Hi everyone, how are you today? We are going to do our lower body yoga day. So start seated on your mat and just center in first. Come back to your breath. Bring your hands to prayer. You can set an intention for your practice, but also mentally prepare yourself because it's going to be a challenging practice for your legs, your hips, your core, and you'll have some control over how challenging it is for your upper body too. So come into a seated boat pose with your feet flat on the mat, knees bent. Inhale, lengthen yourself up, pulling in through that pelvic floor, drawing up along the length of your spine, pulling that belly button in, and scoop that lower belly in as you roll back to just a basic seated boat pose, starting to warm up that spine and that core, working into more challenging positions. So inhale those arms up, exhale, round back. And after you've done a few of those, you're going to raise your feet up off the mat if you're able to. If it's challenging enough keeping your feet on the mat, that's fine too. Just meet yourself at your challenge point. So inhale, lengthen your spine. Exhale, lower yourself back as much as you can, rounding that low back a little bit. Keep that low belly tucked in. Really scoop that low belly towards your spine. Working your way lower, working your legs straighter. Tuck your chin, lengthen your spine, and return to seated. Good job. Come into staff pose, so straighten your legs out and sit yourself up nice and tall. You can point your toes, flex your feet, or relax your feet, whichever works best for you. Scoop that low belly in again, drawing up through that pelvic floor. Relax your shoulders and raise that right leg, keeping it as straight as you can, as high as you can, without losing that strength in your core. You're going to go back and forth. Inhale to lower your leg. Exhale as you raise that leg. Hold. And switch legs. Here you're challenging your core, your quads, your hip flexors. And even though our hip flexors often get tight, they're also usually weak. So it's good to practice this motion to build up that strength and control. When muscles get tight, they don't like to work properly. So we're going to make them learn how to work. Go ahead and lay down on your mat. We're going to move into some bridge movements. So bring your feet hip width apart, a few inches away from your butt. Tuck your tailbone so you can start rolling your hips up off the mat. But pull that belly button in towards your spine. Keep that low belly scooped in. You can clasp your hands underneath your back and roll those shoulders open, bringing those shoulder tips closer to the mat. Tuck your chin and press those hips up just as high as you can without losing that strength in your core. Carefully shift your weight to your left leg and raise your right leg without your ribs and your hips twisting. This is going to take some mental control and some core control. You're going to go back and forth, raise your right leg, and lower. Raise your left leg, and lower. Coordinate your breath. Inhale, raise. Exhale, lower, and switch. Inhale, raise. And exhale, lower. Always come back when you have both feet on the mat. Come back to your core. Check and make sure that belly button is really scooping in towards your spine. This will protect your low back because you don't want to overarch that low back. You shouldn't feel it there. You might feel it in your glutes, your hamstrings, your abs, but not in that low back. When you're done, carefully roll yourself back to the mat, vertebra by vertebra, still keeping that low belly scooped in. Pull those knees into your chest and roll yourself up to hands and knees. I'm going to warm up that spine a little bit more with some cat-cows. So inhale, curl those toes under, arch, bring your chest through your arms, dropping that belly down, and then exhale, press down through your hands, point your toes, press through your shins, and press the mat away from you to arch your back. Get some length between those shoulder blades. Inhale, drop your belly down, look forward. Exhale here. As you move through your cat-cows, notice the different parts of your body. Notice how your collarbones are feeling. If your chest opens on those inhales, if you can roll those shoulders back a little bit. And go ahead and come to hands and knees. We're going to do some bird dogs. So remember to pull that belly button in. Don't let that low back drop down. And inhale, raise your right arm straight ahead and your left leg back. Exhale, pull knee to elbow. And inhale, lengthen without letting those hips twist or your core drop. Inhale, extend. Exhale, knee to elbow. And then keep the leg and arm up and bend your knee to 90 degrees and your elbow to 90 degrees so that your forearm and your shin are parallel to the mat, raising them out to the side this time. Hold here, draw in through that core, challenge yourself to maintain that straight line of your spine, even though you're in this imbalanced position where you're challenging your shoulders and your hips. Hold and breathe. Really focus on that breath. Release back to the mat. Sit back to child's pose. That left shoulder and right hip just worked really hard to hold you up, so let them relax. Inhale, come back up to hands and knees. We're going to do the other side. Curl those toes under, and then inhale your left arm straight out and your right leg straight out. Lengthen your spine, and then exhale, pull knee to elbow. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, knee to elbow. Try not to let your core drop. Keep it as steady as you can. Don't let those hips twist. Smooth, controlled motions here. And then bend that elbow, bend the knee, and raise the forearm and your shin so they're parallel to the mat. And arm and leg are straight out to the side. This is really challenging for that outer right hip and that left shoulder. And then equally challenging on the right shoulder and left hip since they have to stabilize you. Breathe here, come back to that breath. Pull that belly button in, tuck your chin. Don't let your neck strain. Exhale your hands and knees back to the mat and sit back to child's pose. Take some nice slow breaths here. Let yourself relax. Good job. Start preparing yourself because we're going to move into some sun salutations to get a good full body movement. And then we're going to move into some more challenging lower body poses, including some twists that will challenge your balance and help detoxify you. So inhale, come back up to hands and knees, and then step up to the top of your mat and settle into your mountain pose before we do anything else. Find that balance between your toes and your heels and let your head settle, the whole length of your spine settle. Inhale your arms up. Exhale, fold forward. First forward fold of the day. Don't rush into it. Inhale to a flat back, and exhale, step back to plank. Inhale here. Roll those shoulders back. Prepare for chaturanga. Lower yourself towards the mat, point those toes, Inhale to up dog, and then exhale to down dog. Breathe here, settling into your down dog. Pedal out those feet. Those hamstrings are probably tight. Press the mat away from you by straightening your arms and pressing all bits of your fingers into the mat that you can get. Let your spine drop away from your hips. And then inhale, walk yourself back up to the top of the mat. Inhale to a flat back. Exhale, fold. And then inhale all the way back up. Exhale to stand. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale to your flat back. Straighten that spine. Exhale, place your hands and step back to plank. Prepare yourself for chaturanga. Exhale, lower. See if you can hover yourself just above the mat while you point those toes back for up dog. And then inhale to up dog. Roll those shoulders back, open your chest. Exhale to down dog. 5 nice slow breaths here. You can start pedaling out those feet again, adding that twist in to really open up those outer hips. And just let your body settle where it is now. Come back to your breath. Come back to that mental preparation. Inhale, look up at your hands. Walk your feet back up to start. And inhale to flat back. Exhale, fold. And then inhale all the way back up, reaching overhead. Exhale to mountain. Nice slow breaths here, recentering yourself. Then we're going to inhale and sit back to chair. Squeeze those knees together. Sit your hips back. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale to flat back. Exhale, place your hands and step back to plank. Lower to your chaturanga on your next exhale, hovering above the mat while you point your toes. And then inhale to up dog. Exhale to down dog. 1 breath here. And then inhale, pull that right knee, step up, spin your left heel down for warrior 1. Make sure both hips point forward. And inhale those arms all the way up. Pinning that outer hip in. Make sure that right knee points over your third toe and press the mat away with your left foot. That left leg should be beautifully straight. Inhale and exhale here. Remember to pull those ribs down, pull that belly button in. Your core supports you here. And then exhale your hands back to the mat, step back to plank. Exhale to chaturanga. Hover if you can. Inhale to up dog. And then exhale to down dog. 1 breath here as you set your feet. And then inhale, pull that left knee, step up, spin your right heel down for warrior 1. Make sure your hips orient to the front. And inhale your arms all the way up. Sink into that warrior 1. Press that right leg straight. And breathe. Exhale, bring your hands down. Come down to the mat, step your foot back for plank. Exhale to chaturanga. Inhale to up dog. And exhale to down dog. 5 breaths here. Notice how your legs feel. Are they feeling warmer? Are they feeling any looser? Start to welcome those warming sensations, even though it comes with the challenge, because all of that heat that builds actually helps loosen those muscles while it strengthens them. Inhale, look up to your hands and walk back up to the top of the mat. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold. And then inhale all the way back up. Come back to mountain. Reset your center. And now we're going to move into those more challenging poses. So inhale to chair. Knees squeeze together. Exhale, bring your hands to your heart. And then bring your right elbow to the outside of your left knee, bringing your hands back to prayer right in front of your heart, and twist open to the side, to the left. Here, your hips are going to try to twist. So remember to bring that left hip forward, send that right hip back, and lengthen your spine through the midline that runs down your mat. Even though you're twisted here, your spine will still point straight along that midline. Exhale and come back to center. Inhale, stand up, reach up, shake out those legs as you come back to mountain pose. Inhale, step your right leg back to crescent lunge. Your feet should be about hip width apart. Press your right heel towards the wall behind you, and inhale your arms all the way up. And if you need to, you can bring your hands back to your heart if you don't feel steady or it's too much of a challenge for your upper body. Sink into your crescent lunge, feeling both legs strong and holding your body weight up. 5 nice slow breaths here, and then lower your right knee to the mat, point your toes. Inhale, reach those arms up as you sink your hips down, stretching your hips out in Anjana Asana. Nice slow breaths here. Pressing that right hip forward, sending the left hip back. Bring your hands back to your heart, straighten yourself up, and then hook your right elbow on the outside of your left knee. Curl your right toe under, and if you're steady here in your twist, you can straighten that right leg, coming up into the full twisted crescent. Again, lengthen that spine, create that straight line from your head to your right foot. Pull that belly button in. Go ahead and lower your right knee back to the mat, straighten yourself up, then bring your hands to the mat and step your right foot to the top. Inhale to flat back, exhale, fold, and wiggle those legs out. Notice how your left leg feels compared to your right. Breathe and recenter. And then inhale to a flat back, exhale, fold forward, and then inhale all the way up to the stand again. Wiggle out those legs if you need to. Recenter in your mountain and prepare for doing that on the right side. Inhale to chair, knees pull together. Exhale your hands to your heart and bring your left elbow to the outside of your right knee, twisting yourself open to the right, hands in prayer. Remember to send that left hip back and bring your right hip forward. Don't let those hips twist. Really tune into your knees and how they press towards each other. You'll be able to tell which knee is trying to come forward and which is trying to move back. Inhale, lengthen to your spine. And then exhale, return to stand. Wiggle out those legs. Inhale, step your left leg back into crescent. Your feet are about hip width apart. Your left heel presses towards that wall, straightening your knee. Bend your right knee and sink into your crescent lunge as you reach those arms overhead. Keep that belly button pulled in. Ribs pull down towards your hips. Your core is strong here, and even though your arms reach up, your shoulders should be relaxed. Lower your left knee to the mat, point your left toes, and then sink yourself into that hip stretch, reaching those arms overhead. Bring that left hip forward a little, send the right hip back. Your hips should still be squared to the front, not twisting to one side. Reach and breathe. Settle in. Let gravity really open up your hips for you. And then come back up. Hook your left elbow to the outside of your right knee. Curl your left toes under, and if you're steady, straighten out that left leg, twisting yourself open to the right, coming into that full twisted crescent. Find that straight line from your head down through your left foot, pressing that foot away so that knee stays straight. Breathe here, challenging those hip stabilizers. Lower your knee to the mat, come back to center, and then bring your hands to the mat and step your left foot up next to your right. Inhale to flat back, exhale, fold. You can clasp your elbows and let your head hang as you wiggle out those knees. Notice how your legs are feeling. Notice that heat, and also notice if they feel a little more loose or if they feel tight. Give yourself some time to hang here. You can wiggle side to side, rotate, just gently stretching out those legs and letting gravity do the work for you. Inhale, reach up, and come back to center at mountain pose. Inhale, reach those arms up. Exhale, fold forward. Drop your head down. Inhale to a flat back. Exhale, step or hop back to plank. Exhale to chaturanga. Point those toes. Inhale to up dog. And then exhale to down dog. Set those feet. Drop into your down dog. Really notice how close your heels might be getting to the mat. Notice the straightness in your legs. Let your spine release out of your hips again. Breathe here. Inhale, look up at your hands and either step or jump to the top, and inhale to a flat back. Exhale, fold, and inhale, come all the way back up, coming back to mountain and recentering. We're going to challenge those legs in some standing balance postures now. So first center in mountain, and then shift your weight to your left leg, bringing your right foot either to your calf or up towards your groin if you're steady. Use that outer right hip to pull your knee so it points out to the side, and then check your belly, pull that belly button in, ribs pull down, center in to where you are, rooting down through that left foot. And imagine lengthening straight down. You're creating the same length in your inner thigh as your outer thigh as you lift yourself up. You can inhale, reach those arms overhead. So don't let your pelvis drop down on the right side. It might try to drop, but lift that side, creating that length through your inner thigh so you can reach yourself up and root down. Exhale, bring your hands back down to your heart and slowly bring your knee to face forward without releasing it. Point your toe, raising that leg as high as you can, still pressing down through your left foot. Pull that belly in. It's not just your right leg struggling here, it's your left and your core. Release down nice and smooth, shake out those legs. Good job. Shift your weight over to your right foot and bring your left foot to sit on your right calf. Or if you're steady here, bring that foot up to your groin. Use your outer left hip to pull your knee to point out to the side. And then come back to your belly, pull that belly button in, and lengthen down through that inner thigh, through your big toe on your right side, lifting that pelvis up. Don't let that left hip drop down. As you lift up, Your belly pulls in, you lengthen your spine up, at the same time rooting down through your foot. And just as a tree roots down into the ground and grows up, so can you. Reach those arms overhead and breathe here. Exhale, bring your hands back to your heart and bring your knee to point forward. Don't release it yet. Inhale, straighten out that leg while you root down through your right leg, raising the left as high as you can, as straight as you can. Pull that belly button in, breathe, and then smoothly release it back to the mat. And shake out those feet. You did good. Come back up to the top of your mat, wiggle out those feet again, and then inhale, reach up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, step or hop back to plank. Exhale to chaturanga. Hover your chest above the mat while you point those toes. Inhale to up dog. Exhale to down dog. Place those feet. Breathe here. How are you feeling? You're getting tired, you're challenged, but you're still moving. Your mind is strong. Inhale, raise that right foot up as high as you can. Coming up to that three-legged dog. Hold, and then inhale, step your right foot forward, coming back to your crescent lunge. Once you're steady, you can inhale those arms up. Sink into that crescent lunge, challenging your legs. Then bring your hands back to your heart and lengthen your arms towards your sides, reaching your fingertips towards the wall behind you. You can step your left foot a little bit closer as you shift your weight onto your right foot, keeping your knee bent. You're creating a straight line from your head through your left foot, while your right hip and your right butt and leg are holding most of your body weight. You're challenging your glutes really well here. And then start to shift your weight all the way onto your right leg. Float that left leg up. And when you're steady here, you can bring your arms to reach overhead, creating a straight line from your arms through your left foot. Balance here. Notice your toes on your left foot. Make sure those toes are turning towards that midline of your body. This will keep your hips balanced instead of letting that left hip twist open. Pull that belly button in and root down through your foot, just like we practiced in tree. Exhale, smoothly step yourself back to crescent. And then bring your hands to the mat, step back to plank. Exhale to down dog. Inhale to up dog. And exhale to down dog. Breathe here. Nice slow breaths. That was a really challenging Warrior 3. Reward yourself for all of that work by taking a few nice slow breaths here. Then inhale that left leg up to three-legged dog. Breathe here, challenge that glute to raise the leg. And then inhale, pull your knee up, step your left foot up for crescent lunge. Once you're steady on your feet, inhale your arms up, reaching up and lowering your body down into your legs. Keep that left leg nice and strong. Your right heel is pressing towards the wall behind you. Your leg is straight. And then exhale, bring your hands down next to your sides. Fingertips point toward the wall behind you. As you shift your weight more onto your left leg, challenging that left glute as you lean forward. Breathe here. Feel that heat building in your leg, and then shift your weight all the way onto your left foot. Float that right foot up. pull that belly button in. Your right toes turn to point towards the midline. And you can inhale and reach your arms overhead, pulling yourself into that T as you root down through your left foot. Your core is strong, your spine is straight. And if you lose it, that's okay. Reset. And this is a process and a practice, and some days are easier than others. Just come back to finding that balance point, even if it's just for a second, and then you can step your foot back to plank, bring yourself back down to plank, exhale to chaturanga, inhale to up dog, and then exhale and settle into your down dog. And it's very normal for one side to feel harder than the other, especially if you've got any muscle imbalances. What's important is that you still work through the pose and challenge yourself on each side. Inhale, raise your right leg to three-legged dog and pull that right knee up to settle into pigeon. So your right foot comes up next to your left hand and your right knee settles in next to your right hand. You want that shin close to parallel, somewhere between parallel and 45 degrees from the top of your mat. You don't want your foot to be right under your left hip. Work on bringing that foot forward and bring that left hip down towards the mat. So both hips are about at the same level. Point your left toes back and settle into your pigeon. And try to welcome this stretch and don't struggle against it. It's a very intense stretch, but the more that you can accept it and don't fight it, the easier it will be. Focus in on your breath and let your breath really open that hip for you. Inhale, bring your hands back under you, curl your left toes, straighten your leg, and then press yourself back to down dog. Pedal out those feet. You can add some twists in, whatever feels nice and right for you. And then inhale. Pull that left leg up to three-legged dog. And exhale, pull that knee up to pigeon. Your left knee is by your left hand and your left foot is by your right hand. Remember to work that shin so it's closer to either parallel with the front of your mat or about 45 degrees. And bring your right hip towards the mat. Don't let it twist open. Point your right leg straight and settle into your pigeon here. Don't try to force yourself to go deeper than you're able. Be patient with yourself and focus on that breath. This is a good lesson in accepting what you can't control and then breathing through any difficulties. If you can learn to come back to your breath, even the most difficult of times, you will be set for life. Go ahead and bring your hands back underneath you, curl those left toes, and step yourself back to down dog. Drop your head down, pedal out those legs. Breathe slowly. We're moving into those restorative poses. So really start slowing down your breath as much as you can. Still breathing deeply. Your muscles have worked hard. They need lots of oxygen now so they can recover and grow stronger. Inhale, come down to hands and knees and settle into an easy seat on your mat. We're going to move into cow's face pose. So start with your left leg on the bottom, bring your left foot to the outside of your right hip, and then stack your right shin or knee on top of your left knee. Settle both hips into the mat. Make sure both sit bones press into the mat evenly. And then inhale, stretch that left arm overhead. And use your strap if you need to, otherwise you can go for that full bind. Pull those ribs down so you're not arching your back. And if it feels good, you can tilt your head away from your left arm, getting that intense neck stretch. Nice slow breaths here. And then release your arms and exhale, round yourself forward, reaching your hands in front of you, settling into that outer hip stretch. Drop your head down, let your head and your neck and your shoulders relax here. Let your spine grow long and let your hips sink into the mat. Inhale, come back up and hook your left elbow on the outside of your right knee, bringing your hands to prayer as you twist yourself open to the right. This helps find another area in that right hip that can get tight. Breathe here. Inhale your spine long, straight forward, and then exhale, twist a little deeper. Even if you don't feel a stretch in your hip, this is a detoxifying pose. And then release your hands and switch the cross of your legs, bringing that left foot to the outside of your right hip. And your left knee is on top. Inhale your right arm up, bringing your left arm under, and either bind or use the strap. And if it feels good, tilt your head away from that upper arm. Drop those ribs down towards your hips. Don't arch your back. Release your arms and reach behind you, rolling those shoulders open to stretch your chest. You can keep your head straight or let your head tilt back, whatever feels best for you. Nice slow breaths here, still slowing down your breathing, letting your heart rate settle down. And then reach your arms forward, settle your hips deeper into the mat as you relax your whole upper body. Let those hips stretch loose. Nice slow breaths here. Inhale, come back up, bring your hands to prayer, and bring your right elbow to the outside of your left knee, twisting yourself open. Breathe nice and slow. Notice if you feel a stretch in this side or not. But either way, inhale, lengthen to your spine. Exhale, twist a little deeper and enjoy that detoxification. Release your hands, come back to center, and uncross your legs, straightening them out into a wide leg seat. Lengthen your body up. And then twist your chest towards your left foot and lengthen your right arm towards your right foot and reach your left arm up and over towards your toes. Your chest is open, those shoulders are stacked on top of each other, and you can gaze out from underneath your armpit. Feel that intense stretch through your whole left side. Root that left hip into the mat. And keep that knee and your toes pointing straight up. Inhale your arm up, come back to seated. Straighten yourself up and then turn your chest towards your right foot. Lengthen your left arm towards your left foot and bring your right arm up and over, reaching towards your left toes. Root your right hip into the mat while you reach your arm over so you get that intense stretch through your whole side body and side hip. Breathe slow here. Inhale, reach your arm back up. Bring your hands underneath your knees and bring them back up. We're going to roll down to laying on the mat. And then bring your hands between your legs, hooking your hands on the outside of your feet. Your elbows sit in the backs of your knees. Your shins move so they're perpendicular to the floor, your feet as though they're trying to hold the ceiling up. And settle yourself back. Let your knees sink towards the mat. Let your low back flatten into the mat. Let your spine release and feel that intense stretch in your inner thighs. Nice slow breaths. Enjoy your happy baby pose. Release your hands. You can pull your knees towards your chest and then straighten out your left leg, relax it onto the mat while you pull your right knee towards your chest. And then open your right arm over to the side as you bring your right knee across your body and settle it towards your left side. Keep your shoulders on the mat and then let your hip twist. So you're only twisting and sinking as far as your shoulders will allow. And this helps protect that low back. You can turn your head to gaze towards your right fingertips or find the position that's most comfortable for you. And then come back to center, pull both knees into your chest, and then straighten your right leg out, relax it onto the mat, pulling that left knee up towards your chest. Stretch your left arm out to the side. Both shoulders on the mat as you twist and pull that left knee across to your right side. Relax here, enjoy that twist. And then slowly come back to center. Pull both knees into your chest. Set your feet down on the mat. Roll your shoulders together and down and let your arms fall out to the side. And then straighten your legs out, letting your feet fall open. Settling in for Shavasana. Take one long, slow breath in. And then exhale completely and let yourself drop into the mat, releasing control. Watch your breath, observe your body, but don't try to control it. Let your body do what it needs to do now to settle in to its new place now that you've done all of that work today. And let your muscles just enjoy all of the oxygen they're getting from breathing. And let your mind calm and relax. It's just as important to relax your mind and your body as it is to be able to focus and be strong. Wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes, bend your elbows and knees, coming back to your body. And when you're ready, you can roll to one side and come up to a nice, easy seat. Bring your hands to prayer. Close your eyes for another minute. Settle back into your body, noticing how you're feeling. Honor yourself for taking this time today and challenging yourself. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your week, and thank you all so much for practicing with me from a distance. Namaste.